Hello, celebrity gossip enthusiasts. I'm Travis Cronin, and you're listening to Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast. Today, I am joined by my lovely hosts. Couldn't do it without him. Need them by my side. Really has become codependent at this point. We have the woman who is, trying to stay at every luxury hotel in New York before the end of the year. Gwen Flamberg.
That's me. And may I say that the Plaza is very, if I was Eloise, I would have stayed here too.
Would have lived there too. And Sarah Huron, who's wearing a shirt that is just lovely today with her new Gen Z haircut. I already said it. Sarah Huron.
The curtain bangs are back. The free Britney's on. I wish I was Eloise. I'm just a millennial trying to be a Gen Z,
You sure look like it. You're one bucket hat and pearl necklace away from Gen Z. Well, guys, we have a lot of news today. We have a tragedy that I can't even begin to speak about now because it is real bad, y'all, and the Kardashians are involved. We have hot new hookups. We have old hookups that we can't stop talking about. We have a pop star who's getting a designer bridal dress whipped up, a couple sharing clothes, and a future king eating live animals. Yeah, for all that and more, stay tuned. But let's start with our woe of the week, the story that made all of our co-hosts just grasp their pearls. Huron, why don't you tell us what made you go whoa this week?
All right. Well, I covered the CMA Awards for Us Weekly, so I watched them so you don't have to. If you want to know what went down, go to usmagazine.com. There is a stylish red carpet gallery up there as well. Killing it right now on the site. But it really, everything that went down can be summed up in the first 3 minutes, which was Luke Bryan's attempt at a monologue. And he's a lovely man, but it was a very tough sell of him trying to perform jokes. But he did get one good headline when he said, and I quote, "Whatever makes you country, you are welcome here tonight. Rest assured, we are following all health protocols to keep everyone safe. It's so great to be here with all my fellow artists, tested and together or immunized. Who is it? Just playing." And then the camera cut to a very pissed off Carrie Underwood, who looked less than amused and was side-eyeing because, in case you missed it, Carrie Underwood and her husband, Mike Fisher, have, stood with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, who is under fire right now, obviously, for lying about his vaccination status or being accused of. And her husband, Mike Fisher, wrote this whole post about how he stands with Aaron Rodgers, and Carrie liked it. And her face was just well-worthy, to be honest. It was quite, it makes me want her to be on like a Housewives show or something. Like, I think Carrie can throw down.
I would love her on the Real Housewives of Nashville. That face was it said so many different things. It said like, F you, like, how dare you, I'm coming for you later. There was a lot of emotion behind those eyebrows.
And of course, I immediately found someone who had the stream, could screen grab it and put it all over the internet. So now it will be there forever.
Thank you for doing the Lord's work at the CMAs, Sarah. All right, Gwen Flamberg, what made you go whoa this week?
The fact that Jason Momoa, who I am obsessed with, but like he wears shoes that are too small for his feet. Yeah. He keeps wearing like what should be loafers, but as slides with the back, like kinds of pushed down. And I appreciate this because I like to wear slides too. But I just think it's really funny that this like giant, enormous guy is wearing shoes that are too small for his feet simply because he likes the look of them and maybe also the feel. But you guys go to usmagazine.com/stylish and read the whole story. It will give you a giggle. And who doesn't need a giggle?
It really is a giggle. The pictures are so funny. It's sort of, I get that it's hard to buy designer shoes at any gender when you're on the higher end of the size chart, but something tells me he has someone on his team that could probably get him a shoe that fits well. But it's just seeing him like hang out of all the shoes, and
it's
even
amazing.
when it doesn't have a back and his heel is like on the actual earth or on the red carpet, it is so strange.
The thing that I love about Jason Momoa is that he's like, he's a huge star. sure, Aquaman, like massive box office success, but he is still like such a kind of like down to earth, gee whiz. Like he loves guys. Follow him on Instagram because it's just pictures of him like with his arm around celebrities. Like he can't even believe that he's got the audience with them. Like he's like, I'm with Betty White. You know, like he's just as excited as we are. Jason Momoa is all of us, except that most of us wear shoes that fit us.
And damn, does he look good. Worth a
He does.
follow.
Hot.
Well, my woe this week was I never thought I would see a Prince Harry and Spider-Man crossover. I didn't think this was something that I would live in my life and see, but here we are. Cut to the New York Times Deal Book Conference in New York on Tuesday. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, she was asked why she made paternal leave her central issue when she has had this great privilege to lobby members of Congress, yada, yada. She said, you mentioned privilege. My husband always says, with great privilege comes great responsibility. She made no mention that he actually stole this from Peter Parker in Spider-Man, and that is his one principle. The original goes, with great power comes great responsibility. There it is. The saying's thought to have been around since the French Revolution, but the Spider-Man is the quote that most people know it for. So I hope that Prince Harry, I feel like he's a Spider-Man fan. Most gingers are, because Peter Parker was ginger for a while. So
true. And Gwen Stacy, she was the redhead too.
Yeah, lots of great redhead representation.
We're such comic book geeks today. I did have to ask though, while we talk about Meghan and Harry, what did you guys think of the red dress at the gala or whatever it was?
So I think that she's a beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm. You always preface it with that.
Yeah. Listen, she has a postpartum, like a new mom bod, so let's not be shamey. But the dress didn't fit her. It did not fit her.
Well, her wedding dress didn't fit her either. It was too big.
True, but you know, with wedding dresses, it's kind of like, you can give a pass for that because it's like, people get fitted for their wedding dresses. They lose weight. They're really nervous about their wedding. And it's like very few brides, the wedding dress fits perfectly. This dress, she wasn't filling out the cups. It was sort of ill-fitting. She had back fat rolling over in the back. Like I love red on her. She did. It didn't fit her. And I understand she's a new mom. She's got a postpartum bod and understandable. You know, they make so few red carpet appearances. This is their first one in like forever. And I just kind of wanted more from it.
Wow.
Glad I asked.
Yeah, very, very glad you asked. I thought the dress was really cool. It was high fashion and sort of different. The cups did really sort of throw me for a loop, though. I was like, her breasts looked uncomfortable in the dress. And again, I'm not blaming her. These people have stylists and teams around them whose only job it is to do this. But, you know, Angelina hair extensions happen to good people all of the time. So I guess this was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad they're back on the red carpet doing their job. Well, let us jump into the relationship that my mother asked why we were all so up in a tizzy about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, and I didn't quite know how to explain it to her, but I am still thrown for a loop, and we have some new source information on the couple. We heard from a source close to Kim that she has, quote, such an easy time with Pete, and that she is happy and falling for him. Kim's inner circle is eager for Kim to have fun and be free, of course, amid her divorce with Kanye West. We also hear that he's always smiling. She's always smiling and excited when she's hanging out with him. He makes her laugh. No surprise there. But it seems like this relationship is a little bit more real from sources close to Kim than we might have previously thought. All right, I would just like to poll the audience. How long do you think Pete and Kim will last, be together? Is it forever? Is it already over? What's going on?
I believe that Pete Davidson will make a cameo at the Kardashian Christmas Eve party. And there will be a New Year's Eve. I'm still standing on either the Kravis wedding or some sort of Kim Pete New Year's Eve situation. And then before the end of January, we will have no recollection of this.
like that timeline. Gwen, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. We said this about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, right? We were giving it a timeline of it's going to be till September. Well, we're, in November. And not only are they going strong, it looks like, they might be going the distance. I still don't know what to make of the Kim and Pete thing. I do think that it is for attention and to take the spotlight off of Kravis. I don't know. I kind of like this theory, Sarah, that he's going to be at Christmas, but I don't know that he's then going away.
Wow.
I don't know.
There's really two schools of thought just battling in my head, like the sort of philosophers of yesteryear. That's how I feel thinking about Kim and Pete, that one half of me thinks that Pete and Kim have broken up, as of 10 minutes ago. They had a bad text exchange and it's over. Or I think this is going to last like a whole year because a lot of his relationships sort of last like 6, 7, 8 months to a year and a half with these women. So I think we're looking at a year of Kim and Pete.
No freaking way. Let's make a bet.
Let's make a bet right now. I'm also the one that said that Benjamin was going to be forever. So I'm closest to that so far.
That's fine, but I feel much more confident in my Kim analysis and my Pete analysis than my Ben Affleck analysis. So I think we should make a bet.
You're very good at yours sounds all right. Let's make a bet right now. We are I don't know what we have to make the bet for, but it's going to be reading something very embarrassing on this podcast.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm going to say a year and a half is my Pete and Kim guess.
And I'm going to say, okay, so how does it work? Do I have to say a specific time too? Or like if they just go over the time I say that you win?
We all say a specific time and whoever's the closest wins.
Okay, I'm going to say February.
Okay. Gwen?
I mean, February is what I was going to say, but I need to take something different than Sarah Heron. So I'm going to say March. They're going to be just before spring fever hits, but they're definitely going to stay together. They will find warmth in each other through the winter.
Okay, I'm going to say July.
Okay.
Next July.
Wow. Well, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah,
or each other, it's over.
And breaking news, everyone. We have found. Okay, no. Well, I'm glad we have some high stakes on the table.
I do have a gambling problem, which has now been established on the podcast, but that's okay. Let's move on.
Yes, it is. Sarah's like, let's throw down money. I need to, itching her skin. Well, Sarah, please take us into the next news topic. Dorit, with the mid-Atlantic accent, who we feel so terrible for this atrocity happened to her last week. She is opening up. There is new footage. Tell us what's going on with Dorit.
Yes. If you missed it, Dorit Kemsley of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her house was robbed, and police did release the footage of the robbers breaking her glass door and going into her house because they are trying to find these men who stole jewelry and purses and shoes and accessories from her. It's really scary, the video, and Dorit gave her first interview to her former co-star Teddy Mellencamp, who is inexplicably an extra correspondent now, and has brown hair, all besides the point. But Dorit said, quote, "They were surprised to see me home. When they did, they pushed me to the ground. They said, 'Who else is home?' She said they were arguing with each other about murdering her. One of them said, just kill her already, just kill her. And all she could think was, I have to save those babies. I begged them. I begged for my life. I begged for all of our lives. I said, I don't care about it. Take it all. You can have it all. Please, I'm a mother. Please don't hurt me. They need me." And obviously we know that in the end, the men left with over 10 grand of clothes, but items. I don't think it was clothes. I think it was more accessories, but did not physically harm Dorit and did not go into the kids' room. And they have no idea, which is obviously the priority. And now Dorit just has to, get over all the mental effects of this, because it's definitely she's going to have them. She's going to need some therapy for sure.
My God, this is so tragic. We sort of knew a little bit from the police calls that they were threatening her life, but hearing it from Dorit, that's just a situation that no one should have to go through. That sounds horrible, scarred for life.
Trauma,
mama. It is real, real bad. I feel so terrible for her. And it's not even a time for me to make a sassy joke about her, which I really want to, because I feel bad for the woman. It's just sad. I'm glad her kids were saved from any of this trauma, but we wish Dorit the best and happy healing. Love and light to you and yours. Well, Gwen, take us on a levity and tell us about Britney Spears' wedding gown. That's what I would like to hear about now.
I mean, guys, I hope that this is real, you know? So Britney posted the other day wearing a dress, and she kind of alluded to like, oh, you think that this is my wedding dress, but no, psych. That's actually being designed right now by Versace. So first of all, I'm kind of like, all right, so there is an actual wedding in the future. And then I'm kind of like, Britney and Versace, yes, please. But who knows? Who knows if this is fact? Who knows if this is fiction? But I'm into it. And Sarah Heron, I like that you are wearing a Free Britney shirt because, as you know, I am the leader of the Free Britney movement.
Of course you are.
Listen, I just love everything that Britney is serving up lately. She is emboldened. Seems like she's really happy and feeling actually really free. And I love that she keeps giving us these little Easter eggs. So I hope she is getting married. I hope that she is going to be stepping out in like a fabulous old school Britney body bearing, body con wedding dress by Donatella Versace. And, we shall see. But my fingers are crossed. What do you guys think?
The dress she was wearing was so beautiful. First of all, I love that.
Looked really beautiful.
It would look great on you, Gwen. First of all, that was great. It would.
Yeah.
That dusty pink corset. And Donatella and Britney have a history. Britney has been to the Versace show a bunch of times. Donatella has said great things about Britney before Free Britney, before her breakdown, after, during. Donatella has been a shocking voice of support for Miss Britney Spears throughout the ages. So I really do think that this collab could be happening right at the moment.
I went down a rabbit hole the other day because it had been 15 years since Britney filed for divorce from K-Fed on my birthday. And I had to do like a look back on their, like the way they were for the
chaotic.
Site. Yes, chaotic. And I put on chaotic clips on YouTube because I know the wedding was on it and I needed to get quotes. And the dress she wore to that wedding was just tragic.
Crazy.
So I'm very much looking, and her hair was dark. It was just not
the lingerie dress after the juicy couture sweatsuit.
Then the after party in the juicy sweatsuits that were like hose and bros or something like that. The guys wore bros and the girls wore hose, or pimps and hose and something.
Yes.
I think it might have been pimps and hose. Yes.
Long story short, if you haven't watched Chaotic, which was a 6-episode UPN spinoff of just Britney handheld and K-Fed handheld footage, it is the greatest ride you'll take, so please do. But I'm just looking forward to seeing her in a maybe more princessy wedding dress that she deserves versus the tragedy that was the other wedding. And then, of course, the 55-hour wedding in her, like, sweatpants. So this is Britney's moment. I'm excited.
This really is her moment. Chaotic is, well, in its namesake, the most chaotic show television, and all available episodes on YouTube. So go get it if you want to.
Meet the Barkers too. I just started that. Guys, I'm going to have notes next week.
Oh, please do. I would like a full rundown of the highlights of that show.
I will.
Well, let's move on to this tragedy that sort of hit me really hard this week, because it is so sad. All the footage coming out of it is so sad. It is the tragedy that happened at the Astroworld concert with Travis Scott, where Drake was brought on stage at the end of Travis Scott concert. And sadly, at least 8 people were killed. It's looking like it's going to be 9. And dozens more were injured at the concert that was in Houston. After Drake came on the stage, a large crowd began pushing towards the front of the stage during the performance. The fire department tried to get in, but they just couldn't get into the crowd fast enough. There were too many people who were being trampled, who were being pushed, who were being shoved against the stage. This is one of the deadliest crowd control disasters in the United States since 1979, at a show by The Who in Cincinnati, which left 11 people dead. And it's still unclear what prompted the crowd to surge forward, but witnesses described the scene as a chaotic scene before and during the concert, with many people trying to rush towards the front. One concert goer said the event was, quote, hectic from the beginning. Travis was on stage for telling the crowd, "I want to see some rages. Who want to rage?" Moments later, he could be heard saying, "There's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa," and apparently trying to calm the commotions. For several seconds, there was no music. He looked towards the crowd and at the red and blue lights in the sea of people. And he says, "If everybody good, put a middle finger up in the sky." The music resumed. And then Travis said, "Make the ground shake." The concert continued for another 30 minutes and then ended as Travis was waving to the crowd, jogging off stage, say, "I love y'all, make it home safe." The Live Nation concert organizers stopped the concert 30 minutes earlier than planned, but 40 minutes after city officials said the mass casualty event had begun. 40 minutes after the mass casualty event had begun. A ninth grade student, John Hilgert, at a memorial school, was the youngest who died in the incident. John Hilgert was among the 8 victims at the event, some of who have been identified, some have not. There was a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, 20, 21, a pair of 23-year-olds, and a 27-year-old victim. The Houston police chief said that officials worried that ending the concert quickly would make the situation worse. He said, quote, "You cannot just close when you have 50,000 individuals. We were worrying about rioting and riots when you have a group that's so young." Now, that was a mouthful and a really sad one. This is just, it's such a shocking, horrible thing to happen to really the country, the world, because you feel safe going to a concert. And even when they're crowded, you feel like you're not risking death. And this concert sort of shook us from all of this. Who has thoughts? It's really sad.
Well, first of all, I never feel safe at a concert. I never feel safe in huge crowds. And this incident validated that. I mean, these things should never happen. But what I find really astounding is that there wasn't better security and crowd control measures in place. And I think that a lot is going to come out about what actually went down at this show, but it's just tragic. And the 9-year-old who's on life support, here's what I want to say. Parents, don't bring your tiny tots to a show by artists who are known to like stir up the crowd.
Yes. I agree, Gwen. I mean, I didn't know. I was unfamiliar with Travis Scott as a performer. To me, he was just Stormy's dad. Like I knew he was a rapper. I had never been to a Travis Scott show. I didn't know about like the hype of Astroworld. I really didn't know this was like this big of a deal. And then after this happened, obviously I looked into it, and there is obviously something to be said for the perpetuating of insanity that he wants at his shows, and the type of crowd that then comes there and what they're looking for, and how they want it to be this epic, crazy thing, and how they're treating each other. And then, you know, the whole thing seems to be, it's just very sad and preventable, and I mean, horrible. And his apology video was pathetic. So good try, Travis. But
I have sadly been to a Travis Scott concert.
Have you?
And I have. And it is like reminiscent of the hard death metal rock concerts that I would never attend, because I don't want my veneers getting knocked out.
Exactly.
Because there are mosh pits. That's sort of the vibe of Travis Scott's audience, is like death metal rock mosh pits. He eggs them on. That's how it becomes epic, through light violence, pushing. You know, that's really... It is insane. And I'm really not trying to put this all on Travis, because he's sort of just hyping it up, and it's not his job to control the crowd. You know, it's not his job to put safety protocols in place for a concert atmosphere. But I think everybody was at fault here. And I really hope we learn a lot from this. like I said, the videos coming out of it are so sad. These poor kids are being crowd surfed out because of their wounds for the crowd. And another point we heard from a source close to Travis was that as soon as Drake came on stage, all of the security people at the place were, filming the concert on their phones because Drake had just come out, the two biggest rapper there. So all of the security guards were also caught up in what was going on stage. So I think there is plenty of blame here to go around. I think everybody can have some of it. There have been 15, I believe, at this point, lawsuits filed against Travis and Live Nation, Rolling Loud, Astroworld, all of this in wrongful death suits, as there sure have, because I have never heard of a better case for a wrongful death suit more than this. It is just so sad.
And there's definitely going to be more to the story, because didn't the police just say that like the whole stabbing of injections wasn't real? Like, I think there's like misinformation all over the place here.
So when we first found out about the tragedy, when it first broke over the weekend, we thought that someone was walking around with needles injecting people. And that was why people had to pass, because someone was injecting people. And then the security guards said that, no, he wasn't actually injected with a needle. He was actually punched in the neck, which I that is maybe the most confusing thing I've ever heard, as someone who has been jabbed in the face with plenty of needles, if you know what I mean. It does not feel like getting punched in the face. But yeah, that was the original story. But seriously,
I think a lot is going to come out that we don't know about yet. So it's an ongoing investigation and story.
Yeah,
interesting.
And
wild.
I know T's and P's are thrown around a lot, but seriously, thoughts are with all of the family members of these poor deceased people and kids at the concert. Well, let's move on and give some levity and talk about Rodgers and Shailene Woodley. Sarah Huron, can you get into this mess where luckily no one has died yet, but a lot of people are afraid for their lives against Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I gave a little bit of backstory during my woe when I was talking about Carrie Underwood, but if you've been living under a rock, Rodgers Green Bay Packers quarterback in August during a press conference when asked about the vaccine and the NFL and their protocols, he said that he was immunized and not, so he didn't say he was vaccinated, but obviously everybody took that as he was vaccinated.
Right.
There is very specific protocols that every NFL team, they're a little different based on the team from what I understand, but that they have to follow. And he was under the NFL's list as unvaccinated because he is, but he's been accused of breaking some protocols as his life as an unvaccinated football player, including doing press conferences without a mask on, maybe some workouts without a mask on. He is not happy that people are accusing him of lying. He did an interview, very lengthy interview. He had a whole list and he talked about his 500 pages of research and all this stuff and claimed he was allergic to some ingredients, so he couldn't get this vaccine. Got very angry that the NFL made him wear like a yellow bracelet because that identified his status. He clearly is not pro coronavirus vaccine. And the whole point was that, he lied and put people in danger because he was not, following the protocols, and people were believing, he led people to believe one thing about himself when he didn't. And he tried to turn it around into just, they're shaming me and cancel culture. But like, either way, you lied, dude. Anyway, enter Shailene Woodley, his fiance, who the one good thing that came from this is we're getting confirmation these two are still going strong because they have not been seen together in a while. And I was kind of wondering, but no, she has his back because a publication published photos of someone who they believed to be Aaron breaking his quarantine, walking around. It's not Rodgers. This happens sometimes. Paparazzi misidentify photos of celebrities. And of course, it is the journalist's job to verify them themselves. But I'm sure these people were just trying to make a quick buck. An outlet fell for it, and Shailene decided to give us very interesting information to identify why it was indeed not her fiance, Rodgers. And I quote, "Literally, y'all need to calm the F down. This is straight up hilarious. Random effing men on the streets of LA and saying it's him trying to disparage Rodgers. Breaking the rules on a Monday." Oh, the caption was breaking the rules on Monday. Rodgers was spotted grabbing coffee in Brentwood. It wasn't him. So Shailene said, quote, "I know Aaron's body very well. First off, his feet, and no offense to this rando dude, are a lot bigger." I mean, I can't. Then
What the? Like, what? That is what she's focusing on?
I know.
It's irresponsible.
For all of those who know Aaron are beyond the obsessed sports stories, it's no secret that he has the hairiest hands on the effing planet. This oblivious homie clearly does not. Also, cute car, dude, but Aaron would never drive this.
I don't get it. I don't get it, you guys, because here's the thing. If she's working actors right now have to get tested like several times a day. I mean, it's just, so it's, this whole thing confounds me. And that interview that he did, come on, dude.
Painful.
It's really not about the crime. It's the cover up here. Like,
exactly.
Hey, he's allergic to something in the vaccine. He doesn't want to get it. That is really, really up to him. Yes. But you can't lie about it and then like go about your life like you are. That is super, super shady.
And spread misinformation about the things that you did to take, like, to try to prevent yourself from getting COVID or whatever. Like, it clearly didn't work, first of all. But like, and spread misinformation. Like, I love all the fact check articles of like experts. So like, it'll be the Aaron Rodgers quote and then like facts of why it's wrong.
Yeah, like citing Joe Rogan as like this is who you go to for health information. Come on, dude.
And Shailene citing hairy hands and feet as her. I mean, I know it wasn't him, and I get why that is like that. Being accused of breaking your quarantine isn't cool, so I get why they're mad about that. But the way it came off like she's like this middle school girl, like having a burn book, is just so lame. Get a life.
So lame.
Cute car, but Aaron would never. I mean, that it's really, really confusing to me. It's one of those celebrity quotes that, yes, it will be with me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lady Gaga, I don't know if you know, but sometimes she wears some crazy dresses. And I'm not talking about the meat dress this time. She has unveiled some new information about a former dress. She would like to call it an outfit to British Vogue. In her infamous 2011 entrance to the Grammys, everyone calls it the egg, but it is actually a vessel. She said, I was very particular about the way that fashion looked for this performance, so much as the night before the performance, I said, the fashion's wrong. We don't have it. We need it to be latex. We need nude latex, she said. She was like, and if you know, it was tough to find latex on you anywhere other than a sex shop at that point. So we found a latex bus company that were using some of them to cover their seats, and we bought it from the bus company. And that was sort of interesting. But the thing was, we all remember Lady Gaga being brought in the vessel, not the egg, but definitely an egg. And she said, I was in the egg for 3 days. To be honest, at award shows, especially during this time, I didn't like to talk to people. I always felt it threw me off with my performance in a lot of ways, and it really is representative of my devotion to my craft that I wanted to be with myself. So she spent 3 days in the egg. I don't want to ask about the potty. I don't want to know what's going on. I hope she got out to use it. But that was sort of interesting to me this week.
No one is more devoted to their craft when it comes to style than Lady Gaga.
That is true. I can't think of another person in history who is more dedicated to their fashion game than Miss Lady Gaga. Oh, is that an objection? Yes, it's Kanye West. He thinks he is more dedicated. He just sent me a text. Well, we are going to talk about him, and he has a new girlfriend whose name I will learn perfectly as soon as she becomes a little more famous. Kanye West and Venetra.
I think it's Venetra.
Gorgeous name.
It's a pretty name.
Really pretty. Okay, so Venetra has apparently been spending a lot of time with Kanye recently. She was in Miami with him during the recording of his Drink Champs interview, and was spotted last at last weekend's Sunday service at Donda's Academy debut basketball game with him in Minneapolis. So something's definitely going on here. And FYI, on the same day that the news of him and Venetra broke, that's when Page Six revealed that the Kardashians are concerned about Kanye is taking the news of Kim and Pete, saying that everybody in the family is worried about how Kanye will react to Kim spending time with with Pete. Kanye recently said he still wants to be with her, so he can't be taking this well. And then like an hour later, it was like, oh, Kanye and Venetria, hottest couple in the world. So just wanted to point out the timing on that little thing. What do we think about Kanye and his new beautifully named lady?
I mean, I think this is like such classic like dudes where he's going to go on the record and be like, I haven't seen the divorce papers, SNL making these jokes about me and divorce, and like, what the heck's that about? Like, my kids want us to be together, trying to like make Kim look bad for filing for divorce, but then secretly he has like a girl on the side, and we know he had something going on with Irina. So I think Kanye's playing both sides here and thinks he's like above it and is going to try to blame Kim for everything, when like I don't really think she had a choice but to, you know, take some space from him. And I believe that Kim would never try to like keep him from the kids or anything like that. So I think it's going to be the best for these two to be apart. And I'm sure that he is spending time with this model. So go away. In conclusion, go home, Kanye.
Go away. Okay, great. I like it. Well, Gwen, please tell me the lovely news about Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde, and why jewelry is the central topic of discussion for this lovely couple.
I mean, really, guys, I have turned into a really big Harry Styles stan. I went to 2
I'm
shows.
so jealous, Gwen. I saw your videos.
Harry being so much fun. So everybody knows that Harry Styles has incredible style, you know, no pun intended with the Styles last name. His stylist is this guy, Harry Lambert. I encourage you all, if you're at all into Harry and his looks, to follow Harry Lambert on Instagram, because he always gives Easter eggs about what Harry's going to take the stage in, and he's a super creative stylist. Gucci has been dressing Harry all through the Love on Tour, but he has also apparently been sporting some jewelry given to him by his paramour, Olivia Wilde. He loves these like old school rock star baubles, and he's wearing tons of them. A source tells us that they are traveling with a trunk of this stuff, this jewelry that Olivia Wilde has apparently given Harry as a gift, as gifts, multiple.
A trunk?
Maybe it's a small trunk. Maybe it's a train case, but there are a lot of pieces.
Train case.
Apparently there are a lot of pieces that we haven't even seen yet. He changes it up while he's on stage. But you know what this says to me, guys? I was kind of thinking that like they weren't really the real deal, and this was like a little bit of publicity for the film that they did together, and like, sure, she's having a good time abandoning her children and following him on tour.
Gwen showed violence today.
I think that maybe he's attached to her. And I kind of like that he has been secretly wearing these pieces of jewelry. So now, you know, the Harry stans have to kind of look back at all of his on-stage looks and try to figure out what piece was the gift from Olivia. It's kind of wild.
I also like thinking that Olivia Wilde is a pirate who has a treasure chest full of jewelry that she gifted him with just gold coins spilling out the side. That he's like, Perfect. Thank you, my love, Olivia, from your booty is large this week. I will wear your precious gems. Well, that's adorable. Next story is a little adorable and a little cringeworthy, and something I would never, again, speaking something I never thought I'd say, Prince George eating live animals. Yes, it happened. Prince George once bravely consumed a live ant during an encounter with professional adventurer Bear Grylls. He is 8 years old, just to remind you. He crossed paths with Grylls at the inaugural King's Cup regatta on the Isle of Wingington somewhere, and they met up at an event, let's say that. And then Bear Grylls recently told Good Morning Britain that Bear Grylls. Oh, did I say? I always...
Grylls. It's all right. You're not good with names. It's all good. We love that about you.
You know, I was 9 out of 10 today. Let's focus.
You were good. You've been good. Yeah, I'm proud.
So they met at the King's Cup regatta, and then Bear Grylls, was on Good Morning Britain, and he said, Prince George was down there, and just as we were chatting, a stream of ants went across his feet. He and I looked at them, and he looked at me with those amazed wide eyes, and I said, come on, we've got to eat one. And he said, oh, really? And we ate. He said it was a privilege to give the future king his first ant. His eyes lit up as they do with anyone when they're out in the wild and they face and overcome a new fear. So that's good for him. What a little hero. And then during his acceptance speech, Bear Grylls gave Prince George a special shout out, telling the crowd, Prince George, your first ant you ate today. That is a great moment. Well done, you. Now, will the Scotland Yard be coming for him for feeding wild animals to the future king? It seems, I know they're probably fine to eat, but usually I would never choose to feed a royal a live animal. But again, I'm not Bear Grylls and have no experience in this. Oh, okay.
I have one thing to say, and that is hashtag bring back Fear Factor with Prince George.
Ooh, fun.
As the host?
Get it trending. Yes, as the host, as the star, as everything.
Gwen Flamberg, Royal File, what do you think about Bear Grylls giving Prince George live ants to eat off of his shoe?
Listen, I think that the British are not very adventurous eaters. So I really like seeing that Prince George just went for it. I think that only an 8-year-old would pull a stunt like this unless you're like Johnny Knoxville, right? So I kind of like that Prince George is a little tiny bit like Johnny Knoxville. How about that? Into it.
It was a different side of the future king. That's to my hosts, Sarah and Gwen, for helping me spill all of this piping hot celebrity this week. This is Travis Cronin, Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast, with your weekly peek into the glamour, glitter, fashion, fame of your favorite celebrities. Because after all, they're just like us. Best one yet. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week, and maybe Kim and Pete will be broken up. Maybe not. We'll see. Bye, guys.
Bye.